Hi everybody, my name is Dominik Angerer. I'm one of the two founders of Storyblok and the current CEO. And today I'm having an amazing coffee with Tech Informed, so I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much. Alex and I started the whole thing back in 2017. We actually had the idea of just building an amazing product first and basically try to pay ourselves a salary. And somehow it started to get traction without us spending anything on marketing for 3 years. So when we suddenly realized in 2020, it was already too late for us to basically step back. We're two people making about 1 million in ARR, no marketing spent, and suddenly huge customers and clients knocking on our door and asking us, okay, how many people are you? Just so for like a risk management perspective. Yeah, when you tell them you're just two people, they usually tend to not buy you. So we figured, okay, let's scale it a little bit. Yeah, we did not expect that it would grow that fast. It was not the usual kind of journey that you would basically plan out to do, like scaling from 2 people to 240 people in 2.5 years. If you try to plan that would be nuts. I would not recommend doing that. My dad is a software and hardware technician, and he was building own PCs when I was really little. And when I was 2.5, like 3 years kind of old, I got my first own PC just to play around, basically just a notepad on this PC and an old, really, really weird game that nobody wanted to play. So that was the beginning of all, I believe. And like when you then have a parent that actually understands how to, let's say, block stuff from the internet, like games that you want to play or anything that is like above your age kind of restriction. You get creative if you have some technical knowledge. So there was an ambition of working around that somehow, and one led to another, and suddenly I understood how to like break things, not just in our own network, but on the PC side. And then I wanted to understand how we can fix stuff again and also create stuff myself. And I started building websites when I was like 9 or so. If you look into most people already using like ChatGPT in a professional kind of context. And the interesting thing is, I believe that is only the tip of the iceberg. Like creating content, rewriting content, it's all nice, but it doesn't serve justice to what you can do right now, because the interesting thing happens with the things that you don't want to do. Like you want to write content, like that's creative part. That's what most people actually enjoy. But how about using the technology now in context of a CMS, for example, to rewrite content from 2018 with your newest idea, with your newest article in mind, to have it updated and fresh all the time? Why is there not a solution that actually does this for you, to take chores away so you can reuse your old content again? The second thing that is super important, at least for enterprises, because we are more in the enterprise world right now, every company wants to be represented in a certain tone, in a certain way that they are writing, that they are speaking, that they are delivering the message. So having this kind of context window with the definition of who you're writing the content for, or who you actually are. And before you hit publish, there might be an approval step that analyzes your content on, hey, you are not on tone. How about rephrasing that? Or how about this like recommendation from our side to be more in brand? Like these are small things that we're about to implement in the next couple of months and years. You have asked that question now to the one person that believes that personalization is not the key to everything. I believe nobody really needs to have a personalized kind of message on a website. It should be in context. So they should be aware of not who I am and personalized on me specifically, but on somebody like me, It started with those amazing recommendation engines where, hey, people that have bought this also bought this. This is a form of individualization and personalization, if you also will, that is super helpful. But I don't need to go on an e-commerce site and have been greeted by, hi, Dominik, we have seen you on 47 different other pages where you have searched for a new Porsche Lego model, and therefore we think you need another 20 of those, and here are they. That's not what personalization should be. It should not be that every company in the world knows everything that I'm doing and stores it somewhere and tries to push it back to me. Sadly, the reality is marketing teams need to fix the basic stuff first. I myself would prefer less personalization and more focus on faster websites, because then I can consume more of the content quicker without waiting for it to load. I'm looking forward to sites that are optimized for any device that I'm using, being a website on a mobile application or on a larger screen or on a tablet. or even just on the voice if I'm like visually impaired and cannot like see it. This is way more important, like accessibility. If you are accessible, you can hit a way larger audience immediately. That is so much easier to get than doing personalization. We did a couple of things really, really right. So the number one thing is we built our core team first. So we tried to stay as small as possible in the beginning to the moment where we understood, okay, where can we put more money so we can actually return more money for the company. In mid 2021, we hired our first account executive. And the interesting thing that happened is that we tried to remove myself and Alexander from the sales process so it can be scalable. So you have something repeatable. Because something there where there's no founder, something there where there's no leadership involved in the sales process, you can scale, you can multiply. We achieved that for the first time in mid of 2021. And that was the moment we talked to Mario Estrada, which is like one of the most experienced chief people officers in the world, which is part of our venture partner of one of our VCs that invested at the time. I told him about like, hey, we hit the stage of repeatability. I believe we can do more if we hire more. And he's like, yeah, what you're waiting for? It sounds like you're drinking from a fire hose with an espresso cup. So basically, I switched from like espresso cups now to larger cups, and we decided to hire more people. So from mid 2021, we scaled to 100 people 6 months later. And another year later, right after that, we basically went to 200, and then a half year after that to 240. What I really felt was being proud about it, because I always thought it is something that you can purchase, and then realizing, no, it's not. It's something where people actually voting for you. That was really cool, because there were people out there that I got to know from basically just video calls, because it was like mid of COVID time, that really appreciated the product that we have built. They really appreciated what we have built as a company, of a team. Like the best thing out there that I believe happened to me was not in international news so far, like the big newspaper. I love reading those, don't get me wrong. But when my 92-year-old grandpa opened the local newspaper and just saw my face with the investment announcement, he's like, wow, you're in the newspaper. That's amazing. You're doing, like, that was the moment I was like, oh, we made it. You know, like that was like 4 months ago. That was the moment my grandpa was like super proud about me. And like that's the moment when it's really, really fun. When I was just starting to work and have my first kind of, like this interim kind of like 4, 5, 6 week kind of jobs that you can get to really get into this working rhythm as a student, essentially, or as a pupil. And my grandma was, okay, this is your first job now. So never ask for more money. Don't do it. Just be really good at what you're doing and money will come. If you deliver and you're really good, people will notice. And if they don't notice and you feel like, hey, you have delivered something great, then there are other companies and there are other people that actually will definitely realize that and will write you and will text you and will want to get to know you. And the second one was a little bit later, quite a few years later, which was by one of our investors by now, before he even invested. So Peter Larsinger from 3VC. And what Peter has done is he was working with another startup in the same open office space that I was sitting in at the time, together with Alex. And at one point, like we pitched him like, hey, this is Storyblok, and I got this e-commerce system already built out, and we're thinking about building this and this search, and like dozens of different tools. And I remember Peter looked at us quite skeptical, slightly annoyed as well, and literally said to us, hey guys, it's nice what you're building there, but how about you do one thing and do it really, really well, and just like focus for once. The moment you start purely focusing, this is the moment you realize, oh, there's so much to be done in just this one. I will focus, I will do that. And people will realize that and love the product. Yeah, some friends of mine and I, we bought like this really old car, like a 1973 Mini Cooper S, like a really, really, really worn down car. That we from time to time try to fix, where all of us have no idea about cars, to be honest. But at the same time, it's this really nice kind of thing where you can get your hands dirty after talking and like being on a keyboard for so long. It's really nice to try to fix something that have no clue whatsoever. But we got it to start already once. So I have good faith that it at one point actually will run.